Good Thursday morning. Thanks for joining us on Kare 11 News Now. I'm Alicia Lewis. Happening right now, the man accused of shooting Minnesota lawmakers is in court, expected to plead guilty. Audrey Russo is here with the details.
Vance Belter's plea change hearing is set for 10. The U.S. Attorney's Office has scheduled a media briefing after the hearing. Now that's when we should learn more about what went into this plea deal and why the decision was made. Now, just days ago, we learned that the Department of Justice will not pursue the death penalty against Belter. Legal experts say that move by the DOJ was likely a major factor in Belter's decision to plead guilty. Now, a guilty plea obviously means no big public trial. A judge today, though, will make sure Belter understands that that's a right he's choosing to forego.
At the change of plea hearing, that's one thing the judge will absolutely do, is make sure the client or the defendant understands that you could have a trial, and when you enter a guilty plea, you give that up.
So far, the family of Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark have not commented on this new development. Neither has Senator John Hoffman and his family, whom Belter is accused of attempting to assassinate that same night almost a year ago. Back to you.
Audrey, thank you. Well, right now, Minneapolis police are trying to find a suspect in a deadly shooting. It happened around 11 yesterday morning outside a building near 19th and Chicago in the Ventura Village neighborhood. Police say they found a man in his 20s who'd been shot. He was taken to the hospital where he died. Investigators are still trying to figure out what led up to the shooting. No arrests have been made. This morning, the Minneapolis City Council will decide whether to approve the city's pick to redevelop George Floyd Square. Last week, a committee denied Minnesota Agape Movement's plan for the old gas station at 38th Street and Chicago Avenue. The group says they want to build a 6-story building with a museum and a cafe. But some council members say it wasn't the plan they or the community agreed to. Starting today, it appears some terminated Medicaid providers can start billing for services again, but only if they submitted an appeal. The news we obtained in an email yesterday still leaves a lot of vulnerable families in limbo, including Dan Verdick, whose daughter attends Options Inc. The nearly 50-year-old day program in Elk River serves people like Hannah who have intellectual disabilities and was one of more than 3,400 providers the state terminated last week to protect $2 billion in Medicaid dollars the federal government said it was withholding to combat fraud.
They are far from anybody who's doing any fraud. And they have timestamps of everything that they sent and requested, and they still got, cut off at the legs.
DHS did not respond to our requests for comment about this change, and it's unclear still how many providers it's impacting. This morning, a suspect in the Feeding Our Future scheme wanted by the FBI will make his first court appearance, and it comes less than 24 hours after he surrendered at MSP Airport. Prosecutors say Saeed Abdullahi Areg was on the FBI's most wanted fraudsters list with a $150,000 reward for his arrest. The FBI says his grocery and deli business in South Minneapolis claimed to serve 3,000 meals twice a day, cashing in more than $4 million in federal funds in just 1 year. 79 people have now been charged in this scheme. Another tense night in the Middle East, with the U.S. again hitting Iranian targets in retaliation for the takedown of a U.S. Army helicopter, while Iran fired back against U.S. allies in the Gulf that host American forces. The war is taking a toll on the American economy, with inflation hitting a 3-year high, while President Trump announced the U.S. has been secretly moving oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz to help ease energy prices. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest.
Hi there. Well, U.S. Central Command said the American military was responding to Iran's continued aggression. The Iranian Foreign Ministry said this morning the new wave of strikes have rendered the ceasefire practically meaningless, raising concerns we could see a return to all-out war. The U.S. and Iran trading fire again overnight after President Trump made clear
we're going to be attacking them very hard.
U.S. Central Command said it completed attacks targeting Iran's military surveillance, communication systems, and air defense in response to Iran's unwarranted and continued aggression. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth.
When someone's trying to tap on a deal Instead, they're going to have tap, tap, tap bombs dropping.
Iran fired back against U.S. allies in the Gulf, forcing Kuwait to temporarily close its airspace. Iran's Revolutionary Guard released this video Wednesday that NBC News cannot verify. Now, for a second day, Iran state media reporting attacks on U.S. bases in Kuwait and Bahrain. It all follows Iran's downing of an American Apache helicopter and President Trump's post that Tehran had waited too long to make a deal and would now have to pay the price, even as he reasserted.
We want a deal that's meaningful. We want a deal that works.
The president also contending with a new report showing inflation hitting 4.2% in May, the highest in more than 3 years, driven largely by soaring fuel costs. The president downplaying the numbers that he said would drop when the war ends.
I love the inflation.
Later telling the New York Post he meant inflation is lower than anticipated despite the war, while he also revealed what he says was a secret mission to reduce energy costs, with the U.S. military guiding oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz.
We took out the other night 22 ships, late at night with no lights.
Saying they brought out more than 100 million barrels of oil. For context here, 100 million barrels of oil covers roughly 5 days worth of what Americans use in 1 day around the world. A U.S. official tells NBC News the American military has coordinated more than 200 transits, helping ships find a safe path through the Strait of Hormuz. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Today, Target Field concession workers are set to announce the date of their strike. Last month, 81% of the workers voted to authorize a strike if necessary. The nearly 500-person unit is represented by Unite Here Local 17. They're demanding a new contract with fair wages, affordable health care, and job protections. Let's switch gears to hockey. The Minnesota Frost now losing another player this morning in the P-Dubs expansion. Goaltender Nicole Hensley is signing a 2-year deal with Vegas, one of the league's new teams. Hensley spent her first 3 seasons of the PWHL with Minnesota. Also going to Vegas are former Frost players Kendall Cooper and May Batherson. Well, today, soccer fans all over the world have been waiting for. The 2026 FIFA World Cup is here, and the first match kicking off in Mexico City. This year, cities across Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. will all be hosting. And while there's no games here in Minnesota, our professional soccer club is making sure that it's a very special experience for everyone. Megan McPherson has details.
Hey there, good morning. Yeah, the plaza obviously empty, quiet right now. That's going to be a much different story here in just a couple of hours with the soccer celebration hosted by the Minnesota United kicking off here. John G with the United is joining us this morning. John, we talked a little bit. We've been hearing from you throughout the morning because we talked yesterday, but you guys are getting set up here this morning. Tell fans if they want to come down here what they can expect.
Yeah, we're really excited. It's going to be about 2,500 people. In front of a giant screen. We're really looking to set up like a premier soccer event, viewing event of the World Cup. We saw a need. We have some great sports bars in Minnesota, but there wasn't one collective location that was doing it, and that's where we kind of felt like we needed to step in.
Yeah, and with a big outdoor space like this, it's just a great environment to be able to host lots of people. Speaking of that, I was asking you before how many people you're expecting to come out here. Quite a few, right?
Yeah, we're expecting about 2,500 a day for each kind of. That's the capacity of the area. Tickets have been going fast. They're free, but you just still need a ticket to get in.
Yeah.
And there's going to be interactive games, there's food, drink, something for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. We got this big screen behind us here. As John mentioned, you got to register to be able to come out here to the event. Why did you guys want to host this soccer celebration party? Obviously, the World Cup, we all wait for it. It's in North America this year, so some people maybe they're going down to Kansas City to watch a game, but that's expensive. Not everybody can do that. So you guys wanted to have one place for fans to all be able to come together.
We did. Like I said, we saw a need. And we felt like if we can get everybody together, we were the soccer team, we felt like it was on our shoulders to put this event together, and so that's what we're doing for the group stages. And
before I let you go, as someone with soccer knowledge, how do you think the U.S. men's are going to do in the tournament this year?
I'm always positive going in.
Yeah, we got to stay positive. But like I said before, hopefully they do a little better this time around than they did a couple years ago. Hopefully they maybe make it out of their group and advance a little bit further. But nonetheless, it's going to be super exciting. Again, the first game of the opening game of the World Cup is at 2 p.m. this afternoon. Back to you.
And be sure to stick with us. More news and weather coming up after the break.